Hello and welcome to Ready Steady Freefrom. Today we are going to do a savoury recipe. Doesn't happen very often, but it happens from time to time. So today we are going to make chicken chasseur. Okay, so today we're going to be using the pressure cooker, and I've already got it nice and hot. And in the bottom of here I have some avocado oil. So it's about a tablespoonful of avocado oil in there, and it's nice and hot, ready for the chicken. So what we're going to do is we are using chicken breasts here, and you want at least 4 really for the recipe that we're going for, and we're going to seal them. Okay, so we had a technical hitch which I cannot undo, so in order to still get a video out this week, I'm just going to have to tell you what happened. So my phone storage was full and it cut the video, so what I've just done, I've realised hasn't recorded, so I'm going to have to catch you up. Alright, so I'm going to tell you what we did after we sealed the chicken. In here I've taken out the chicken. The chicken is now sealed and it's in a dish. Alright, so we've got that. It's only part cooked. There's loads of raw bits because it's going to go back in. Alright, so that's just sitting over there, all sealed. Alright, the next thing we did was to put a little bit more oil in, and I used the avocado oil again. You can use any oil you want. You can use olive oil, sunflower oil, coconut oil even, of your choice. All right, so that's that. So we put a bit of oil in, the pan was still hot, then we put chopped up onions in. And what we did as well was we added a little bit of stock to it just to deglaze the bottom of the pan and to stop it start burning. Because it was got chicken bits on the bottom, we needed to stop that burning because it'll obviously come into the flavour of the dish. So we just put a little bit, probably, I don't know, 100 ml if that, of stock in there just to move around the pan and clean it up. Now we cooked the onions and then we added mushrooms. Now mushrooms you put in as many or as few as you want in, or none, it's really up to you. I just went by eye. I have done them in mushroom halves, and so it's up to you whether you slice them up thin or whatever you want to do. So that's really personal preference. The guide for the mushrooms, I put 1 onion in and I put 200 grams of mushrooms in, there or thereabouts. And then I put 2 tablespoons of tomato puree in, and just cooked that off for about 1.5 minutes because you need to cook out the tomato puree. Once we did that, we then added red grape juice, so about 225 ml of red grape juice. You can use red wine, or you can just use stock instead, additional stock, because we've already got more stock going in a bit. So that's where we are now. So we've got the onions, the mushrooms, the red grape juice, the tomato puree. Once you put in the red grape juice, you let it boil up. All right, so you saw it boiling and it's steaming away, and so that's where we were at. So we've boiled up the red grape juice. So we've got a lovely, it's a lovely colour actually, because of the red grape juice that's in there. It's a lovely colour, but as I say, you don't have to use that. You could use red wine, you could use stock. Okay, so let's get back to where we were. Right, so now we're going to add about 500 ml of stock. Okay, and we'll give that a stir. Now we're going to add some thyme. Thyme and chicken go together beautifully. If you've got fresh thyme and you can put a couple of sprigs in, absolutely do that. I don't have any at the moment, and so I'm going for about 2 teaspoons of thyme. Now I haven't put any seasoning in this, so I am going to season this, because the only thing that's seasoned is the chicken at the moment. Be careful with your salt when you put that in here, because your stock is going to have salt in it as well, especially if you use a packet. If you make your own stock, like most SCD people do, then it doesn't have as much in it as you know, store-bought stock. Now I'm going to add some carrots. So I've got some carrots here that are peeled and chopped, and I've just done them just chunky, nice and thick, because they will cook beautifully. If you do them too thin, then they're going to be kind of mushy and too easy dissolved. So I've peeled and chopped 5 carrots here. Again, it's personal preference. You don't have to use any carrots. You could use things like swede, rutabaga, as it's otherwise known. But carrots do bring a lovely colour to the dish. If you do use swede, rutabaga, then I would chop it smaller because it is a harder vegetable to cook. I would do it in little cubes. All right. So we're now going to add the chicken back in. And just kind of bury it in the liquid. Now, because these are chicken breasts, then they will take less time to cook than chicken legs. So check your manufacturer's instructions for your pot as to how long you need to cook breasts for in your machine or legs in your machine, okay? For my machine, which is a Pressure King Pro, then it's going to be 10 minutes that we're going to cook the breasts for, all right? So I'm going to close the valve and then program it for 10 minutes. Okay, so 10 minutes are up and we're going to release the valve and then open it up. And never release the valve with your fingers. I've learned that lesson. Okay, so it's just coming to the end of the steam release now, and then in a moment we'll be able to open the lid. It won't let you open the lid until the steam's gone and it's been released. There we go. Okay, so see in there, beautiful hot pot of deliciousness. So we'll just take some out just to show you. Now this would go lovely with some butternut squash mash, some cauliflower mash, cauliflower rice, broccoli rice, anything like that. It would go really, really nice with. Now I'm going to show you the liquid. It's very, very thin. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to take out the chicken again. You don't have to do this, you can just have it thin, that's absolutely fine. So we're going to take the chicken out, just because we don't want to overcook it. And what we're going to do is we're going to reduce the mixture in here to make it a thicker sauce. So just going to let that simmer away and I'm going to come back and check it. Now I've had this reducing for about 20 minutes now and it has gone down considerably. Now obviously as we're reducing it, it will thicken, but it will reduce the amount of liquid that we have, obviously. So it will reduce the amount of sauce that you have in your dinners. And so you need to take this into consideration. Now I'm just going to show you, I'm just going to pour a little bit over this cold chicken here. So you can see there, it's not as watery as it was, but it could go thicker. So it's really up to you as to whether you want it to go thicker. After 20 minutes, I'd definitely keep an eye on it because it does thicken very quickly from this point because the liquid is really reducing down. Now, I don't want to take too much liquid out of this, especially as I'm going to be reheating this when I come to eat it in the week. So I'm going to put the chicken back in now. I'm going to turn it off, put the chicken back in. And then when I come to reheat it, I'll just reheat it in the pressure cooker, and then probably for about 5 minutes with the lid on. So that is chicken chasseur. We'll do a cheeky taste test just as soon as it's cooled down a little bit. Okay, so it's cooled down a little bit now, and I'm just going to take a little bit out. You can see that sauce is really nice consistency. and it just coats the chicken lovely, so it's no longer watery, and there's still quite a bit in here, so that's really good. So we're going to do the cheeky taste test. It smells really good, which is a good sign. So I'm just going to break off a piece of the chicken, dip it in the sauce. You can see the thyme in the sauce. It just looks lovely. Yum, yum, yum. Mouth watering. So first thing you get is a really, sounds silly to say, chickeny flavour. So the sauce is very chickeny. I think that's because of the broth. There's a real richness that comes through. It's got a gentle flavour of thyme running through it. It's very comforting. It's really nice in the winter to have a comforting meal, and this is one of those. It's a very smooth sauce. It's really nice. It's not too sweet. You know, you'd think it would be sweet with the red grape juice, but it's not. It's really nice. Carrots are lovely and soft. So if you wanted to have your carrots maybe crunchier, then you could pop them in at the end when you're simmering the sauce down, because you're simmering the sauce down for 20 minutes. And so that would give the carrots time to cook. But this is lovely. It's really, really nice. And as I say, it's just very comforting. And with some mash, this would be great. So that butternut squash mash, which would give some extra liquid to this, some extra moisture. And also cauliflower mash as well. It's lovely and creamy as well. It's a very unique flavour to it, because you can kind of taste a little bit of tomato. You can taste the red grape, but it's not, because it's kind of changed into something else. So it just gives it this lovely, rich flavour. It's very difficult to describe, but it's very nice. It's very comforting, very Moorish. So that is chicken chasseur. I'll be eating this for dinner later in the week, and it'll keep in the fridge. You could even freeze it if you wanted to. The only issue with that is the carrots would break down even more. So you could potentially just cook the chicken in the sauce with the onions, and then add vegetables to it later on if you wanted to freeze it. I'm sure it would be fine to do that, and then defrost, and then you'd reheat. So give it a go, enjoy it, share it, like, comment, share on the video. That's great. And I will see you next time in the kitchen.